faceless content creator on Twitch.
When we first thought of the idea of streaming at all, we just don't like the idea of showing face all that much. I mean, part of it's self-confidence.
What are your thoughts on like people who hate hearing their own voice when they start stream? Like people who are very, very new to streaming.
Talk to yourself. You might start getting used to the idea of your own voice. Yeah, this is the little derpy version that we had Eggy do. I have Twins Play Egg does all of the ones that I have right now.
The Don.
Right.
The Don of the family. And right there is the first lieutenant. This is the BotBanters podcast, where we define niche communities and subcultures that define the internet today. Our guest for today is thirties, a content creator who's redefining anonymity, community, and late blooming success in the content creation game.
And I don't even know that for sure. I'm just gonna assume.
For 3 years, he's swapped face cams for a PNG persona, built a loyal tribe, and proven that your 30s are not too late to start hitting the streaming button. I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. Let's get into it. Since we're already right here, Mac, I just want to bring this up before we go further into the history books. You're actually celebrating your comeback. Your comeback stream was yesterday. First stream of 2025. Rock solid 7 hours and 40 minutes. How does it actually feel to be back right now? How does it feel entering your third year as a streamer?
It feels good. We started in October of, I believe it was 2023.
2023 or 2022?
2022. October of 2022. And it was basically on the heels. I rode Satanic's coattails, basically. She got into it, and then I made one little offhanded comment about how I think it would be neat. And then of course Aura was all for it. She got me into it. I started telling more people, and then boom, October hit. I actually managed to get my boom arm for my microphone. I hit the scene, and it just kind of happened. I don't even know really how we got here, but year 3 is starting off strong. I've got a good solid plan going in. We've got beautiful community to back us, and we've had that since day one. And if it wasn't for guys like you guys, we wouldn't be here.
It's funny you bring up Satanic. Sly and I were actually talking before the podcast when we were thinking about who do we want on our podcast for the very first first 2, 3, 4 first episodes.
Yeah.
And it was the Mac Attack, and it was, if possible, Satanic by Panic, because when we were looking back, if it was not for Satanic, I would never have met Sly Absol 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's a web of so many beautiful small communities that come together, and it's like it's really crazy to think. I don't know if she realizes how instrumental she is in all of these there's hundreds of people that know each other in one way or another through her, and I don't know if she realizes that.
In many ways, when I picture it in my head, Satanic sits as the head of the family, like a cartel. Mac Attack, the Mac Attack is right there, first man, first lieutenant. I think I don't actually know how the cartel works, but I'm trying to go back to the Soprano days and think about how does Tony Soprano operate. The Don,
right.
The Don of the family, and right there is the first lieutenant, I guess, a made man, the Mac Attack.
I've known you for, I would say, around 2 years plus. And I just want to say, but before we start this, I don't want to get too emotional with it, but I do want to say thank you and Satanic, for helping me get into more into streaming and help my affiliate journey. You guys always came in with a big party, always come with raids and bunch of everything, and such a good attitude. It definitely made me want to continue streaming. And I just want to say that before we go into it.
Oh, well, I appreciate you. I really do, Absol. You deserve all the love that anyone's ever given you. I just want to say that. You're amazing.
That's actually why I wanted to bring up the next question, which was your choice to use PNGs instead of using your face, like a face cam. I actually wanted to get your perspective of being a faceless content creator on Twitch. Why do you think this style of streaming resonates so well with the modern audience? And how do you think it impacts the relationship between you and the community that you built?
Oh man. I think it resonates so well because I think, you can really be anything. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I do look pretty much like this, Hair's a little longer right now. I haven't had my hair cut in a while, but you can represent yourself in pretty much any way, shape, or form. And people love to see that. People love to just go in and be able to see you know, weird, cool dragon characters or more simplistic stuff like me, just a little werewolf dude, and people think, hey, maybe I could do that, and I think maybe it helps to inspire more people to do it because when we first thought of the idea of streaming at all, just we just don't like the idea of showing face all that much. I mean, part of it's self confidence. I'm self conscious about the way I look, but another part of it is safety on the internet. You don't know who's going to go in there and what kind of weird freakazoids are going to be there. So until we found the community, we were just nervous, and then we were kind of locked into this after we got a little bit more confidence about it. So we just kind of kept doing what we were doing. But then I put the face reveal challenge up there on the stream because I know people want to see the face, right? So I figure if I do something crazy and people manage to actually meet that goal, give them a little treat, and that's
So, for those that are not familiar with your channel and the channel points that you have set up, what is it that they need to do in order to get that face reveal?
it's a very small 5 million channel point community redemption, of which you can it pains me to say that you can only do 2,000 per stream per person. So my idea last year was to stream a lot more and then actually end a stream and restart so that people could give more points. And that just kind of fell apart. And that was all on me, right? That was 100% on me. I should be making that up to people now because it's been a minute since I started this, and I know people want it, and I've had so many ideas for new community goals that I
did
don't
not
want to
know
put in
that.
front of that.
Wow. We're talking about face reveals there and there, but I think one thing that I personally just have whenever I hear your voice, it sounds. Well, I talked to you yesterday about it, but I'm gonna bring it up in the pod. God damn it, I don't care. You sound like a TV, not a TV, a radio host. Your mic and your voice are like the perfect dynamic duo, and it just sounds so crisp, so nice. So like VTuber, I just see your character moving, and I just hear a crisp voice, and I'm like, oh, this is excellent. This is beautiful. What are your thoughts on like people who hate hearing their own voice when they start stream? Like people who are very very new to streaming and like they hate hearing their own voice. Like, do you have any suggestions or like
Well,
have
first
you
off,
experienced it?
I appreciate that. Thank you. As a person who I really don't like the sound of my own voice. I mean, in your head, you hear your voice. I think it's like something like an octave lower than what you actually have it out because of the way it resonates within your own skull before it reaches your ears to where you can hear it right.
Mhm.
So it sounds so much different. So I guess the a word of advice would be kind of imagine what you sound like a little, like slightly higher pitched, and just kind of get an idea of that, and then maybe just record something and say things over and over. Just talk to yourself. You might start getting used to the idea of your own voice. The more and more I heard it in clips, the more and more I heard it during editing just random stuff for things. The more and more I shared the thing I did with Ratty, I would have to listen to myself while other people were watching it, right? So the more and more I just heard it, the more I started getting used to it. So now I don't necessarily hate my own voice, but I'm not gonna rush out and record a bunch of stuff and then go listen to it to see how it sounds. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah,
comfortable with it. I'm comfortable with it.
I
When you were
used to.
beginning and learning how your voice sounds and getting more comfortable
Yeah.
with it, Was it off like Twitch, or was it something that you practiced whilst on air?
Um, I, I I never really practiced getting used to it. I just kind of heard it. When we got these microphones, they have something to where when you speak into it, it plays a little bit of your voice in your ear. So it's not like you're
Okay.
listening to yourself talk,
A little
but
like a
you can
feedback.
kind of hear the sound of it. Yeah, it's like feedback, but it's in time with your voice, so it doesn't get confusing.
Yeah,
And
playback.
yeah, playback. Like over time, you just kind of get used to that, and then it helps with your voice. And we got these specifically for Twitch. So before that, it was just a typical headset microphone where you have the headset on, the microphone in front. And I it took a while to get used to that. It really did. But so it was kind of pretty much on Twitch that we got used to it, hearing the sound, and then again, hear it when somebody plays a shout out for you, and then a clip of yours plays, and you've got your voice talking. It's like, oh, at first it's kind of cringe, but then it's like eventually you kind of start getting used to it, and just over time, it'll be a thing that you don't even really think about.
Um,
So I used to have like an issue myself when it came to like my own voice. I Whenever my friends would play like a video, I would instantly get irked and legit just like leave the room. Like hearing myself singing is actually like nails on a chalkboard in my own personal opinion. But I think Twitch definitely helped me on that. Also, hearing your own voice through clips, recording, testing audio, you would have to hear your voice. All of these things, and like just you want to make sure you sound good too. But like constantly hearing it, it definitely made me used to it. BATpixi, you got anything like that before? Like, do you used to hate your voice?
oh, I still do. One of the hardest things for me to ever do when I was going live was listen to my voice. And then when you try to edit a video for YouTube, you got to listen to your voice like 10 times over and over and over again. And so it was always something that I struggled with. And it took a long time for me to be able to overcome that. One of the things that I liked about streaming in a way is that I didn't have to listen to my voice because I would just turn that off. I didn't have the that feedback loop or the bypass, is it?
Yeah,
And so all I
Yeah,
had to
yeah,
worry
something like that.
about was I just had to listen to the game I was playing or the sound effects, the music, but I didn't have to listen to myself until I got to the editing later on. And even then, that ended once I started like really focusing on Twitch.
I will say you both have good voices. Don't listen to yourself, okay? Your voices are good. I even talked about Bad Pixie about his voice, how his voice sounds so like professional and like proper.
It
Like
does. It really
it feels
does.
like he's about to read us like a research
A research
essay
paper.
to us. Yeah.
Um,
It's
on that point about being, like having unique voices, Mac, I actually wanted to like bring this up. Like, how do you differentiate yourself in such a competitive space on Twitch? There's, millions of people. How do you find your unique voice, your unique content in an ocean of content creators?
Oh man. I don't really know. I don't really know that I have, honestly. I tried when I first started, I thought, do I want to be a little bit more like family friendly so I'm open to like more audiences, but I cuss like a sailor. I'm so profane and just in everyday speech. So that lasted all of about, I'd say, maybe 25 minutes. And then um and then I thought to myself, like, just I want to create an 18 plus space,
Okay.
because absolutely for sure that means that I can pretty much say or do anything without the fear of any minors being in the chat to like offend, or anything weird. I don't want to say a bunch of weird stuff when there's kids in the chat, right? And I'm sus. I say weird things. I make offhanded comments. Just I say a lot of sus things. I'm a sus person. So it's like I don't know that I really have found any kind of unique way to present myself. I'm just kind of being me. I'm really profane, kind of sussy, and I just for some reason, for whatever reason it is, enough people have resonated it to where I have a small regular audience, and honestly, I'm honored. I'm just honored that people want to sit here and watch me be a goofball playing video games.
I took a look online. In total, you have streamed over 1,133 hours, over
Whoa.
370 active days, effectively one stream almost every 3 days. I wanted to touch upon the subject of legacy. Having created and been a part of the community that you built, having created years worth of content, where do you see yourself going over the next few years, and what sort of impact do you want to leave on those that might quite literally be growing up watching you after they get back from school? I know that you want to
Oh
make a
God.
PG-18 content, but that is something that is a reality as well.
Man, I don't know where I see myself in a couple years. Like when I was doing all the Dark Souls content, I kind of really wanted to like focus on Dark Souls, and I feel like I feel like I maybe burnt myself out on it a little bit. Still love the games. I definitely want to go play as many Souls likes as I can. But then World of Warcraft came out with its Pandaria remix stuff, and I was like, well, maybe people in the community would love that, and so I switched to that and just did that hardcore for a while. And I don't know, I switch up so much every once in a while. I think to myself, I'm always gonna be a variety streamer, so I don't think I could ever really niche myself into a single group. But where as far as where I see myself in the next few years, I hope people find me entertaining enough to grow. I'm not gonna like wish to be super famous. I don't know if I would be able to handle that. If I look down at the view counter and I see more than 6 people, I actually start to get a little bit panicky. I don't know. I get nervous. And it's really hard to like focus after that until I get right back into the game and I focus on that and I forget about the view counter, and then I can get back into it. So maybe one day if I could like maybe partner in a couple years, that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be awesome. Why not
Well,
be as big as I Show Speed? One day just go across the you go anywhere in the vacation, you're always
Oh
getting
God,
mobbed. You're just getting a huge mob. Who knows what
I
they
don't
say
know,
to you?
man.
I don't know. There's a part
I
of me
don't
that
know.
I think if you ever do get big enough, Mac, I would love for you to get one of those like helmets like Deadmau5 has, or even a costume of the original Mac
Oh,
attack. And that
okay.
way, when you go out in public, you can resonate with the fans that grew up watching you. And by that point in time, you would have the face cam already revealed, the face reveal. So when you take it off, people will be able to interact with you that way as well. So maybe that could be like a long-term goal.
I could see that. I could see that. Get myself like a big Mac helmet.
Yeah.
reminds me of like Marshmallow, the artist
Marshmallow,
who
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's exactly what I'm thinking of, those types of helmets.
I could never, but damn, I could maybe Mac.
Yeah.
It's a Mac thing.
We need to get
I
you. We need to get you a Tanuki suit. That's what we need to do.
raccoon. Oh yeah, by the way,
Yeah.
that raccoon onesie is like ripped up almost. Like I had to give it to my girlfriend because I can't fit in it anymore. So
What'd you do?
so give you guys context. There was a channel point on my stream. If you hit the channel point, you redeem it. I have to wear a raccoon suit. So I don't know if you guys know, but I had a huge break in between streaming.
Hmm.
I got a little bit bigger. Okay, it's either by muscle or fat. I don't know. Maybe a mixture of both because I
He,
Well,
was
it's a little
working
bit of
out,
both.
but I
A
was
little
eating
bit
a
of both.
lot. That raccoon suit just doesn't fit on me. The leg, the arms, the everything, and I'm like, oh my god, it doesn't feel like it. But I've gotten like fatter, bigger, something.
It's just
Uh,
more muscle. That's all it is.
let's
it's
let's
more
try to
muscle.
cope and call it muscle. Let's try to say that just for my own sake.
I've gained a lot of muscle the last year or two myself too. Don't worry. Don't worry about
We've just been getting on muscle lately.
We
We've been
pronounce it
working
as
out.
muscle.
it.
So we're talking about how creating your own like unique area in streaming, right? Unique
Yeah.
voice. What are your opinions on like streaming a different game if your viewers are affected? Because you're a variety streamer yourself, right? Let's say you had a community of Dark Souls, and there was a bunch of Dark Souls people go in your stream, but now you're getting tired of it. You don't want to force yourself, right? You want to switch to something else, right? Your viewers are
Yeah.
getting affected. What are your thoughts on it? Do you care? Is it like something that you feel like some people just have to get over if they want to like move on to different
Um,
things?
all in all, I think it's maybe if you've created a little bit of a niche, I can see how you would want to be worried or whatever about that. But all in all, I think the healthiest thing that you can do as a streamer is play what you want to play for however long it is that you want to do it. If you feel like you want to do a 14-hour stream today and just take some breaks in between to eat a little bit here and there, take care of yourself, do it. If you feel like today you can only go for 2 hours, then you can only go for 2 hours. If you feel like today you want to play, the newest Call of Duty because it's trending and you like shooters and you're having fun, go for it. But if the next day you feel like I need to play a JRPG, I need something with some substance, some story that'll stimulate my brain a little bit more, go for it. You will see view spikes and view dips just depending on what you're doing and who wants to see it. But all in all, eventually you'll find a group, a community that will be there for you. And yeah, you just gotta kind of take it in stride. There's huge streamers. There's one named Darva does a lot of Dead by Daylight content. I mean, people look to him in the Dead by Daylight community to like figure out the game, to learn and understand it. And when he doesn't play Dead by Daylight, his viewers like dip significantly, but he's still got many thousands of people there watching him, and those are his community, the people that are there no matter what. And it doesn't matter if it's 5,000 people or 5 people. If there's 5 people there that are there for you, then that's what you have to recognize and understand, and just look past the times when you have a bunch and just look there for the community, because those other people are there for you too. It's just maybe they're more interested in a game at a specific time, or they're more interested in seeing something with some action when you're playing something that's a little more story oriented, and there's nothing wrong with that.
One of the things about community is a lot of it revolves around the personality of the streamer themselves, and a lot of that comes from that streamer's perspective on life, the things they've done in their life that they share with chat and they interact with chat. As someone in their mid-30s, you're part of an older demographic in the Twitch streaming world. I just want to know, how do you navigate the generational differences between yourself and your audience? Do you think there's any like disadvantages or even advantages when it comes to building your community, knowing that you have much younger viewers and then potentially even older viewers as well?
Yeah, there are some disadvantages. Sometimes, lingo comes into play, and it's like, what the are you trying to say? Like, is this good? Let me Google this real quick. Is this a good thing? Okay, cool. They're saying I did good. Awesome. And then you get the lingo down with the newer viewers. You try to understand what they're trying to say, and you try to get lit, fam, every chance that you can you can get.
Rizz it up.
Yeah, you gotta rizz it up when you can. You gotta make sure your skibbities are in order and not all that good jazz. But then it just comes into like you gotta own up to the fact that it's like I'm kind of getting to be an old man in terms of like the youth size. Like if you're fresh out of like high school, 19, 20, coming onto Twitch because you think hey, I'm gonna try to do something. I like playing some Valorant or whatever, and then you try to get into streaming communities and you meet somebody like me. I mean, I'm an old guy by then, right? I'm an old man at that point. That's 15 years between these people. So you just got to find whatever you can to resonate with them, and just try to have fun, right? You got to own up to the fact I'm an older dude. You know, I'm here to have fun. I'm not gonna understand things. I'm gonna slip up and say the wrong thing and make people go, oh man, you're so old, whatever. Right? You just gotta roll with it. And then as far as the older groups go, just respect both ways really comes into it too. To touch on the older demographic subject a minute, there was Granny. Absol, you remember Granny?
Yes.
We both do.
Yeah, Granny would come in there too to you, BATpixi, and hang out, and it's like, um, I miss Granny a lot because it was really fun to be able to sit there and chat with her because she was just no nonsense. It's like she brought that feel of being, the person to stand up and speak out and for yourself and for others. And it's like, I don't really know that many people that are like that are like my age that are just as blunt about it. Like I'll try to be more, like I'll beat around the bush and be a little more polite about, well maybe it's this one thing, or maybe no, Granny would just be like, no, it's this way. Get it right, and it's like, um that kind of communication is, it just requires a mutual respect, and I think a lot of older generational people speak in that kind of manner. They're more blunt and direct and about what they believe and stand up for and everything. So it's like just being able to understand kind of how people from different generations act, I mean, because we were all younger ones,
Exactly, yeah.
Absol, I'm sure you can remember what it was like to be in your young teens, right? You can kind of see where they were coming from, So
I get
it's
it. Yeah.
it's a little easier to go backwards and kind of feel like, well, I remember how I was in my 20s. I was, a little bit headstrong, but so I can kind of get that feel. But when it comes to the older generations, it really takes a lot of trying to understand, like, where they come from, what time period was like, what life was like back then. They didn't have phones and so it's a little bit harder to bridge the gap generationally with older folk, but usually people of like minds will just come around and, they'll kind of form a sphere of influence around you. You'll be able to kind of read people regardless of how old they are. It's really cool. It's really interesting to see how that communication really works.
So I have a quick question. Testing your knowledge, because Skibbity, all of those
Oh
terms.
God.
Do you know the current one that's going on right now? It's
Uh-oh.
called Huzz. HUZZ. Do
Okay.
you guys know what that means?
No idea.
Not a clue.
I'm assuming not, but I'll tell it to you. It basically means like girls of interest, or like women that, you know. So someone would say, "Yo, I'm gonna rizz up that Huzz," right?
Okay,
So,
okay,
so that's
okay.
that's a new thing. Um, touch base on that the Granny situation. I want to say
Yeah.
R.I.P. Granny first of all. If you
Yeah,
guys
RIP
don't
for sure.
know, just in case anyone who doesn't understand, Granny was a person who was from Satanic and Max community. She would also show up on my stream too, and BATpixi stream. Very, very nice, kind, and very respectful. Honestly, I saw her as a Twitch grandma, and everyone did. And she would like talk about, she's like making cookies, and she's like, if you were here right now, Absol, I would give you a cookie. And I don't know, something about it actually like made me tear up. She's not with us anymore, but
Yeah.
there was so many good memories. She taught me how to play Minecraft. I know it sounds crazy, like my generation, my age, and someone who is past 50s is teaching me Minecraft is like insane. But like a lot of people came in my chat like, wow, someone's teaching you Minecraft, and like the age disparity is so huge, but it was just so sweet. And
Yeah,
yeah,
she was a
no
gamer,
tears.
man. She was a
Yeah,
real gamer.
She
full
learned
on gamer.
Minecraft when she was in her 30s. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right,
Before I was
right.
born. No, stop playing. Not that
Minecraft's so old though, for real though. It's ancient by now.
Yeah.
I think I was in like high school when Minecraft first came out back in the 2000s, right?
I think so, yeah. I think I was just getting out of high school and Minecraft started to like be like the first little blip of popularity that it had.
And it just never went away.
Yeah.
No,
It
no,
never
it just
stopped.
it's been here. It feels like it's been here since the dawn of time.
Um,
So one thing I do want to mention, Wait, was there anything that you want to say about Pixie before I move on to the next topic?
Actually, I just wanted to just touch upon the building of the community and Granny
Yeah,
being
go
such
ahead.
an important part of it. One of the
Yeah,
things that I actually loved that the community did was create an emote for Granny that
yeah.
continues to live on. And
Mhm.
even though I have left the streaming world for like several years now, it is still a core memory of me interacting with Granny. Every time I come into one of your streams, I know that that represents someone that was in the community. And it was actually one of the reasons why I wanted to understand a little bit about your own legacy, Mac, going forward, knowing that the things that you're doing right now, even though it might just be for fun, you might just see it as, I'm not certain, as like as a hobby, but for those of us on the outside watching it, it is something that's like a part of our life. Like when we think about where's the consistency, we know we can always go into a Mac stream or Satanic stream, and Satanic by Panic stream, for those
Yeah, wow.
listening. And so I'm actually curious. Right now, you've been focusing for the last few years really heavily on the Twitch platform. Do you ever consider perhaps saving some of those VODs or moving into YouTube or some of the long form content where it can be stored for longer generations or later generations?
Um, funnily enough, for the past, I can actually pull up here. Give me 1 second. I can actually pull it up, and I can tell you the first time I started doing this. Let me go to here. I've got it on. I've got an external drive,
Okay.
and on that external drive, I have a folder called Stream VODs,
Let's
and
go.
the first one is from April 27th of 2023.
Oh my goodness. So
Wow.
I
you're at
have
the
an
start of it.
entire backlog because when I go to hit live, when I go to hit start recording or start streaming, first I hit start recording, and I have actually recorded my own VODs since then, and I have yet to actually upload them to any YouTube channel or TikTok or anything. I don't know what it is. I procrastinate. I
That's
procrastinate,
fair.
and then I don't get stuff done. As Satanic, it's my biggest downfall.
We have to
I
change that.
Yeah, we gotta. I have something similar, by the way. I have a 12 terabyte hard drive, and
Nice.
I put my streams in there, but I do post them on YouTube. It's on like an unlisted podcast. I mean, sorry,
Oh.
podcast, unlisted playlist, but
Okay.
it's for the public. So if it's not gonna pop up as like a, because I find it really like it would be annoying if people wanted like notifications on my YouTube and then they just see a stream and they're like, I'm not watching this. I expect a YouTube video. So I put it as like a playlist. So if someone wants to ever catch my backlogs, I have my first ever stream even in there up until like I've kind of been slacking on posting them, but I have a bunch on my hard drive. So talking about legacy, we got something. We got something there.
So talking
Okay.
about a little bit as we move on to like the community and the wider aspects of like YouTube, for both of you, I would highly recommend that you start posting those VODs. Keep them on. Don't put them on listed. Sly, put it like so people can find it, and then just turn
Huh.
off notifications so that the people subscribed don't get those notifications. And then that way
Yeah.
you can grow both ways. And I want to see going forward the Mac Attack showing up on YouTube with full 7-hour streams so that we can enjoy that whilst we're at work.
You know what? You know what? As a resolution for myself this year, I should do that. I really should. I really should.
I think especially now that you've just started up again, starting on the 4th of February, start off with a nice strong Spyro, the dragon stream. Today you have
Yeah.
some Batman. If you do, if this is your resolution, I would support you 100% on that.
Okay. Okay. I might set up a yeah. I can set up like Demac Attack VODs. I think that would work.
I think that's
One thing
something to do.
yeah, definitely. One thing I would that I also really love on your streams, Mac, is like whenever it's not even you streaming technically. It's like Satanic is streaming and you're at the background, like giving your inputs, talking to chat, talking with Satanic. like you won't even be realistically gaming with her all the time, and you just be there for like an extra voice. I personally love it. Like it's like a dynamic duo, Satanic and Mac. Um, I also, whenever my girlfriend, you've seen my streams with my girlfriend sitting
Yeah.
and playing the games, and I personally love the vibe of like relationships and streams. Like it's joyful. But what are your thoughts? Do you think like that enlightens your stream? It makes it more positive. People find it like
Oh yeah.
wholesome.
Absolutely. Whenever we do any kind of collab stuff, because I mean, when we play games off stream, we usually play games together. She's not really one to play games much by herself.
Mhm.
She'll play on a server if it's Minecraft, or if we're playing a game, it's like we'll start up a world on Astroneer or something. So we play a lot of games together. So when we're doing collab stuff, it's kind of just what we do normally, and that's why I think we just gel so well. Like we bounce off each other so easily and stuff, and I think that it's really positive for each other's streams to do that, and in general other streams as well. Like when somebody will have their significant other on, I think it shows personality and togetherness and everything, and it's really really nice to see when people can work together and stuff so well in a relationship, like on stream. I think people love it. I think people eat it up. And then of course, there's also times when big huge drama breaks out. Big streamer drama happens, and somebody brings on their girlfriend, and they end up well, why'd you like this girl's Instagram post, and in the drama, people eat up the drama even more.
Yeah.
So even if it is like a negative thing, then I think people will still see it in a positive light and eat it all up either way. So
On that subject, if you spend a lot of time streaming, both of you together, is there any hobby or interest that you have outside of streaming that might surprise your audience? Is there anything like that you guys do?
oh boy, like us together,
Or even individually? Is there anything
even
that
individually, like
any hobbies or interests that you have outside of streaming?
I mean, I don't know much about it, but I love cars.
Oh,
Like I love
Oh,
cars. Like I don't know a whole lot about what the best engine is for a car, but like when I sit and I look at a car, I'm like, damn, that's a nice looking car. I would love to have that sitting in my driveway one day. And drifting, like the car sport drifting, I love it. Like if I ever hit it big, the first thing I'm doing is I'm tuning a drift car for fun on the track, like locally.
oh my
on,
goodness!
on stream or off stream?
Yes.
This is this from?
Yes.
Was this inspired by Tokyo Drift? Need for Fast and
Um,
Furious, or how did this come about? Where did this
kind of,
passion
sort
for cars
of.
come about?
What year did Tokyo Drift release? Like,
2003.
Early 2000, early. I know that.
Yeah, somewhere
okay,
early.
Mac.
possibly it might have had something to do with it. I played a lot of Forza 2 with my friend, and he was a real car guy. Like he knew what he was talking about. And it's like, yeah, no, we drifted a lot on Forza 2, and that's kind of where like the love was born.
Yeah.
I've never seen you ever play a car racing game, even Forza, on stream. Is there a reason for
Nope.
that? Do you like to keep that for yourself personally off screen?
Well, reason number one was that none of the drifting games, like there's a bunch of like Initial D arcade drifting games.
Gotta
None
get
of
that
those were like
tofu, right?
realistic enough. Yeah. None of those were like realistic enough for my taste. I love the simulation feel of Forza. And the other reason being is that I really couldn't get a Forza game on my computer until the most recent Forza Motorsport release, and I am so god awfully bad at it now that I wouldn't want to bring it back. I would have to sit there and practice off stream a bunch. And since I've got so many other games on a backlog that I want to play, I mean, I'm not saying it won't ever come. Like, I might practice it enough to get back into it and kind of get the feel for it again. But another reason would be kind of like a racing wheel. I kind of want to try it on a racing wheel. I think it would be pretty cool on a simulation wheel.
We know how BATpixi would do it, man. He would have a full room designed for racing. He would have his like full couch become like I don't know, like one press of a button and there's like a whole steering wheel just right in front of your face.
I've
This
dreamt of
guy's
it.
yeah.
It would
See,
be
I knew it. I
perfect.
knew it. I'm right.
Yep. Yep. It would be perfect too. I'd love that.
He got the setup down. I don't know if you ever see his photos of setup, but like ever since he stopped streaming, he has been like has the most relaxed setup ever. It's so cool.
It's
So who
Nice.
knows?
well, you can see my setup right behind me right now. I literally just got the two lazy boy chairs right behind me.
Awesome.
I'm actually sitting not in front of a computer right now. I'm sitting in front of my TV, and
Okay.
this is a little bit like the retirement after a retired
BATpixi's
streamer.
retirement center.
Um, so when I got the call from Sly Absol, he was always bugging me for the last like year, and to be honest, I didn't understand why he kept calling me or like texting me. I thought he was like doing his own thing, and eventually, I guess it does work. You get to the point where you're like, fine, let's just do it. Like, fine, let's just do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I will say it is such an incredible change of mindset going from I'm just coming home from work, I'm gonna watch a movie, um, paint some miniatures for my board games, hang out with the family, exercise, to I'm gonna do all of that, but then for the last like 3 hours, we're gonna be like setting up stream, writing scripts, editing videos, editing shorts, figuring out how to do this, and that, and um, in a way, it's stressful, but it's almost like an addiction. I'm actually kind
Oh
of
yeah.
curious. Now that you've been streaming for so long, do you feel something like that? Like you feel like this is a part of my life? Like I love it, but I feel the stress behind it. How does it feel streaming?
I absolutely feel that. I, I'm normally a reclusive kind of person. I like to just keep to myself, usually. But but when we started streaming and people actually showed up and people actually wanted to talk to me and wanted to see me do things, I was like, well, okay, kind of like this, I've always been I've always been the attention seeking kind of kid. I was a class clown. I would always crack jokes and annoy the hell out of my teachers. And it was really nice to actually see people want to be there. And so it kind of got this feeling of it's like, okay, I kind of want more now. I kind of want more. I kind of want more. And even though I look down there and I see, more than a few people and I start to kind of feel sick to my stomach, a little part of me goes, sweet. Now let's get that number higher. Go, go, go. Right. And, and it really does take a toll after a while though. So that's why you'll see like month-long breaks from me where I can just like, I can relax. I don't have to worry about, is this working? Is OBS going to have an update that breaks something? Is Mix It Up going to be up to date, or am I going to have to like delay stream by a couple minutes to like get that set up again? And it's like, does this game want to capture? If I put this game in full screen, is it going to mess with my resolution and bring everything else to the other monitor? And it's nice to not have to worry about that. But at the same time, I think the scuff is what makes it fun, right? Like, oh shit, chat, hold on, wait 1 second, I got to deal with this thing, and it's relatable. It's relatable, and not everything always goes perfectly for everybody all the time, right? So when something happens, people want to be there for it, and it's like it's an addictive feeling having everybody be there and gel with you and hang out. Yeah, but the stress is it's nice to take a break once in a while, chill, relax, just be there in other people's streams.
I think the analogy of like being in front of a classroom is really fitting. Something I've noticed is when I come into your stream, you're very open. I love the laugh. It makes me want to laugh. And then when I take a look at that number, something does actually change my mind. It's not just a number; those are actually real people, and it's a class size of people: 25 people, 30 people. That can you imagine yourself being in high school again and having that audience in front of you whilst you stream? Is that how it feels to you a little bit?
I can absolutely not imagine that. I would immediately freeze. That's one of the benefits of being behind a computer screen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would love to perform on a stage one day, be it, maybe some stand-up comedy, musical instrument, whatever, right? But I don't ever think I could. Having the people there in front of you is,
Completely
oh
different.
man, it makes me nervous thinking about it, right? And it's like oh man, but thinking about them as like every single number is a person. It's like, okay, one of those is me. If Twitch counts, me watching my stream so that I can read chat. Well, one of them is me. Okay, another one is okay. Well, that's definitely satanic. That's definitely her chilling and lurking for me, showing support. Okay, another one is okay. Well, that's my mom. She's in there lurking, showing support. Okay, who the fuck are the rest of these people? This is scary. And then somebody starts talking, and it's like, oh, okay, they're in here. Cool. I can distract myself and talk to them. Okay, hi, how's it going? What's going on? How's your dog? And it's like anything to take my mind off of it. Because if I think of them as like actual people, I'm going to get terrified.
I personally don't even look at my viewers like at all, like the view count. I always have it off. I think it probably does affect me, like
Mm-hmm.
thinking about it. So, and plus, like if I see like one viewer realistically or like very low view count, I wouldn't want to say stuff. But if I like trick my brain into thinking that there's always like 5 views at least, I would always want to say something to just generate that. But I do have a question for you. For anyone who's like starting off new streaming, do you suggest them to look at the viewer count or not to look at the viewer count?
For somebody starting off brand new with no link to any community, because like I said, we were gracious enough to piggyback off of like the community created by Aura, and it just snowballed from there. So to somebody who doesn't have any kind of link like that, I would recommend ignoring the view count. You don't necessarily have to turn it off. That way you can kind of help mentally track where you're going with like your affiliate status and whatnot, and whether or not you should maybe call a stream early to kind of get the boost there, which we can actually get. I can actually talk about that for a few minutes. But I would say just treat it as if you're constantly talking to a few friends that are gonna like pretend like you're there with a few friends. Pretend there's a few friends there, and you're just you're just talking to them. Just be like, oh man, today was a pretty rough day. You guys, like you wouldn't believe what happened, right? And just pretend like you're just sitting there talking to a few friends, and then when you do something cool in the game, be like, oh my god, did you guys see that? Somebody clipped that shit. That was great, right? And it's like the more you do that, the more approachable you'll be, because you never know who's actually there. The viewer count when you're like beginning streaming, I don't think it's accurate. And I think it's conspiracy theory Mac coming in here. I think it's to keep people from getting affiliate status unless you definitely have several people in there, right? So there might be 2, 3, 4 people in there, and it just isn't really registering the views to kind of keep you from getting that ad revenue. But so just talk like somebody's there, because you never know when somebody actually is.
Yeah. I think Pokimane said it really well. I know I take my advice from Pokimane out of all people, but hear me out. The way she brought it up was really interesting. Like streaming is like, imagine like you're in a huge apartment and every door is openable. Like you can go into an apartment door and check what's going on. When you open a door, you see something. If you like it, you stay. If you don't, you leave. You go to the next door. So it's kind of like eventually someone somewhere will open the door. And if you have something exciting, let's say if you open up a stream and someone is like party rocking with like doing push ups, someone is like, 2 people are like brawling almost at the back, Twitch TOS almost. But, anyways, point is,
Yeah.
it's more exciting. Or if someone
Yeah.
doesn't want that and they get a headache, they want to go to a more relaxed coffee room, very, very chill, relaxed. And there's always a community for that. So that's how I've always seen it. It's really interesting when you think about it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually. That's a really good analogy for it.
Yeah, Pokemon number 1, man. We heard it from me. Slide 2025, Pokemon number 1. Not true.
Something that comes to mind as well when you bring up that analogy, and like people are showing up to your stream and you have no idea where they're coming from. Um, we look at the transformation over time. Those people stay, they come back. Mac, over time, you've changed as a PNG. Can you give us a little bit of an overview of what it's like making the decision to change your original character into something new? And then from there, what's it like making the decision to take on new outfits and transform over time?
I mean, part of it's just an evolution of yourself and like how you see yourself on the platform a little bit. When we started off, we had these very serious. You remember the very serious,
I
big
still have them.
handsome Mac. Yeah, I had this big handsome Mac, and it's like, I thought, that's really neat. I like that. It's nice and detailed. It, gives a decent image in somebody's
It's
head,
amazing.
and then we met another artist, and he happened to do some very very cute chibi work, and I was like, well, that's kind of cute. And sometimes you're just in the mood to be cute and fun, and you don't want to necessarily always look really nice and dapper and handsome, and so it started with that. And then regardless of what happened with the other artist, I've since stopped using that model for the PNG, just basically because of something that happened. And I just don't feel like it's part me anymore. I don't really want to be associated with it as much. So I moved on to just all the straight chibi work that this new artist would do. And they're so talented. Eggy is so talented. I can't gush enough about how good of an artist they actually are. And it's like, I have an idea, or Satanic would have an idea, like, hey, for for Halloween, let's do like dress up characters. I'll get something for Eggy off of his wish list, and he'll make something up for us, and it's like, oh, okay. And then we show up as Chucky and Tiffany from the Child's Play series, right? Chucky, Bride of Chucky and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's like he could just boom boom boom, and it's like, so any kind of a whim at that point. It's like, well, maybe today I want to be like, I want to be kind of be like full werewolf form, so I have like a model where I'm more like a werewolf than anything else. And it's like, he creates so many of these wonderful outfits, so I can sit there and I can go, well, what, today maybe I want to do this, or today maybe I want to do this. And it's like, this is my little derpy guy emote, or PNG, and it's like, I love this one. And it's like, so it kind of just evolves as time goes on, with like, well, now I've got this whole backstock. I can be anything almost at any point in time, and it's just it kind of just snowballed into that, really.
I love that idea of being anyone at any time. Um, One of the things that we did touch upon earlier was that we are now in a situation where a lot of oldest people, 30s, 40s, 50s, are coming into these platforms as content creators. But it's still something that a lot of people in our age group as well are a little bit of afraid of if they've never done it before. Would you say that it is still advisable or still viable for someone to consider streaming at this time, or would you encourage them to do something else instead? Because there's a lot of commitment when it comes to streaming. The audio, the cameras, the computers, the costs, the upfront costs. Would you
Oh
still
yeah.
consider this as a great hobby for someone in this age group?
Yeah. I think if you enjoy gaming, chances are you're already gonna have a rig, or maybe you have like a console, and the consoles all have Twitch as an app built into it. So even though it's not necessarily ideal, you'd like to have overlays or screens or something you can work around with OBS and a capture card instead, maybe. But either way, if you enjoy gaming, chances are you've already got some kind of setup that would work for it. You can get a few things fairly cheap. A microphone upfront cost can be anywhere between $50 to $100 for something decent, something like I've got. And the really nice podcast microphones that are just rich and buttery smooth can be even more. But if you do save up a little bit and you want to kind of like approach it, the upfront cost, if you're already a gamer, can be pretty low. If you're not really a gamer and you're looking to do something else like crafts or something, there are cheap cameras that you can use for hand cam kind of stuff. There's cheaper microphones. You're not necessarily too worried about quality. I mean, you want to present something that's, if amateurish, still tolerable, right? So yeah, I'd say if you're interested in it, the upfront cost can be low if you're willing to accept that you don't have to have everything be perfect, and just be yourself. And that being said, streaming is not for everybody. A lot of people are going to find out that I just can't do this. It's too much work, and that's fine. You can still be a part of a community. You don't have to be a streamer to be a part of a community, right? But I'd say give it a shot, right? Because you never know who's going to be the next queso, right? The next person to just blow up and hit it big. It could be anybody. It could be one of us. It could be somebody in the chat. Somebody watches this on YouTube. It could be you listening to this. It could be you. So why not? Go for it. Take a shot.
And with that, I think that's actually a really positive message. Slide, did you have anything else to bring up?
We're talking about, like, I guess I just want to chime in about trying to get into streaming. If I were to just chime in on something, it's like, definitely enjoy it, right? And be yourself. That was one of the two things that you brought up that made a lot of sense to me. Like, if you don't enjoy it, like gaming, if you enjoy gaming, you're already kind of there.
Yeah.
I think also having like the correct mindset of, like, oh, I want to be queso, but you just started streaming like 2 days. Like, some people, I kind of met some people where they are like, hey, I streamed 3 days. How come no one is here? Yeah, it's probably not gonna take. It's not gonna be like that. It's gonna take a while.
Setting expectations.
Yeah.
Some people want to stream with a small community, right? They don't even want to get big. Some people have different goals on their streaming. So I think people instantly think, like, if I stream, I might get big. There's also a chance of you just enjoying a time with your community, and this is like a really nice hobby that you love, right? And I personally, if I had to say any community is like that, I would say it's yours and Satanic. Seriously, like, it's definitely this guest we have, the Mac Attack, is definitely one that's close to me and BATpixi's heart, because we've known BATpixi. I mean, I've known Mac, and then through BATpixi, through Aura, very, very positive. And yeah, I would probably want to end it off something along the lines like that. But Mac, for anyone who's hearing the podcast who doesn't know about you, where can they find you? And yeah.
It's just twitch.tv/DA_Mac_attack. That's where I am. That's where I'll always be.
Perfect. Any other social medias or just the Twitch?
Right now, just Twitch. BATpixi's got me influenced into doing a YouTube though, so I might do something like the Mac Attack VODs. We'll figure out a name for it later.
So for anyone watching this in the future, perhaps 1 or 2 weeks from this, you can find Mac on YouTube.
I'll be there.
You'll be there.
He's forcing it. He's making the YouTube account for you and sending you all the credentials.
Whether you like it or
Hell
not.
yeah, let's go. Let's go. Oh yeah, I do have a Blue Sky too, but I never post. I have a Blue Sky, I have a Twitter. I don't use them. I'm not good with that.
So I think it's something that you can always look at when you grow as a creator later on.
Absolutely, yeah.
But with that as well, thank you, Mac, for coming onto the second podcast it's actually the third podcast, but it's like the second time we've had a real guest. This means so much to me. I know it means a lot to Sly as well.
I just want to thank you guys for having me. I mean, you guys don't know how important you guys are to me, man. I mean, I go in there and I have fun hanging out with Absol and BATpixi. When you were straight, every single time I found out that you were live, I immediately boom. I wanted to be right there. So you guys are close to my heart too, man. I really love you guys. You're great. You're wonderful people, and I just want to thank you for having me on here and even thinking of me.
And hopefully we'll be able to convince Satanic by Panic one day to consider coming onto the podcast as someone that sits as the Don of the family.
hopefully one day. We'll see.
Yeah.